Book 6, Chapter 3, The Mismatch, Part 2. Arriving at the Treadle Galaxies, Roger and his group beamed down into Gumden's office. He was alone behind a very large desk reading. Rexton started, "Greeting Great Leader Gumden. This is Roger, Jenny, both humans, Bastgar, a Marinti, Joe, a Norset, and Bina, a Maquis." Gumden was surprised but offered, "Sit down, Rexton, please." Gumden stood and motioned them to a group of chairs on his left. "Great Leader, I am thankful you still know me. You are the leader of the Second Fleet. How can I not know you? Please sit." "Sir, we come from another dimension. I am not the Rexton you know. It's really a very long story. But we came for Roden, and our task is to make him replace you as head of the Grand Inky Council. I am not that old Rexton. I can get a joke." They all laugh. "We know Roden is your chosen heir, but he is lost in his ways, and you have tried countless times to get him to a position that the Council will see him as a worthy successor."
"I'm listening."
"With your permission, Great Leader, we would like to abduct Roden, Gantley, Rentana, and Celino. We would bring them to the Norset galaxies where we need to free over a dozen planets taken over by a species called the Morts. Then we would go to a species called Bowfangs, a close friend of the Norsets, to free several dozens of their planets taken over by the Morts. Then we will come back here and free the 6 planets taken over by the Intis. Deal with the Furlets and the alliance with the Intis. Foster unity with the Intis and later deal with the Furlets." "Okay, I am not that old and I can take a joke, as I said. We guarantee Roden will come back a changed Inky, worthy of being your son and successor." Roger spoke this time. "Fine, I trust you, Rexton, and I have run out of options dealing with Roden. But why do you have to take Gantley along? He is the leader of the First Fleet. We need him to be in on the game to change Roden. He's his best friend. They grew up together. You would have to talk to Gantley to help us with the task. I would also have to talk to Rentana and Celino. You know how they are. When do you intend to leave?" "In 2 days." Gumden nodded. "Okay. I probably have talked with the 3 by then. Tell me, Rexton, the Roden of your dimension. How is he?" "He replaced you and he was honored as the greatest Inky fleet commander in history, having fought in battles to free the Inky planets, freed all the Indy planets, then dealt with the Furlets and united the 3 into 1. So he is now the great council leader for the Intis, Inky, and Furlets, united as one species. Really, and my son can be like your Roden? They are essentially the same person." Gumden stood, and as Roger and his group stood, Gumden embraced each of them. "Thank you. And I hope we will be successful this time. Great council leader, our activities are all conducted in secret. Only the 3 would know. Nobody else." "Understood." After 1 day, Roger abducted Roden and his 3 friends. They put them in time boxes and let them out when they reached the Crimson planet. They freed Gantley, Rentana, and Celino first. At the small mission room, Rexton, "Sir, Rentana, Celino, we are glad you are awake." He embraced Gantley, Rentana, and Celino. Then he introduced Joe, Roger, Jenny, Bastgar, and Bina. Bina held Celino's hand, and Celino was surprised that Bina was indeed from another dimension. Bina started, "We are in the orbit of the Crimson planet. 3 Armada ships will arrive tomorrow from the Maquis galaxies. Then we would open a DG window into our dimension where 30,000 of our people would come over to man the 3 ships. We would like that you spend some time with our Trunnies so the Crimsons can provide you with the necessary technical knowledge to do your job. Then our ship will provide you with the communications implants so we can talk through long distances. The Crimson would also make you telepathic." She purposely left the comedic trait out. "Okay, I trust you, Rexton. And we were instructed by Gumden to play along and support you. And frankly, I and Rentana and Celino here will immensely enjoy doing this to Roden," Gantley said. They all laughed. The Inkies sounded more sinister than the rest. "Shall we?" Rexton asked. They nodded, and they were all beamed into the Crimson. John appeared. "Our ghost operatives on Earth reported that the humans on Earth have stopped talking about us. At first, they blamed their leaders for not agreeing with the simple request. Surprisingly, the 3 leaders bonded some more. Then the argument died down, and now completely out of all of their communications." Jenny asked John, "Did the ghost operatives find out if they are doing some preparations in case of an invasion?" "They specifically reported that they have not come across any preparation for any invasion. I guess we would just have to wait. It would pass that Roden and Gantley would be the persons who will deal with them." Roger said. "I agree." Bhaskar said. John reported, "The latest DG update from Eric reported that Gadden deployed more than 200,000 Max under Bellono and set up a cave base in one of the occupied Norset planet. Gadden estimates that all the Morts would be tagged by the time we arrive. He will leave 10,000 Marines in the caves to provide our ships with the intel and add to our shock troops. That's great. We only have 30,000 people, and we could be here for months tagging alone. Tell Eric thanks. Jenny said. Did Eric also provide for tagging the Bowfings? Roger asked John. No, he did not. We can use the Norsets to do the task, Bhaskar said, and Jenny nodded. The Inkies were beamed straight to the mess hall where Roger and the guys were waiting. They motioned them to the food line, and they fell in line. As soon as the Inkies sat across him, Roger asked, So how was your Crimson trip? I did not feel a thing. Gantley answered. Gantley, you have to talk, not telepath. Jenny interrupted him. My apologies. So now I understand a lot of things and I can talk to the ship. Did I get the implant already? Roger answered. Yes, you all got the implant while you were in the Crimson. Why don't we wake up Roden? Gantley asked. Rentana countered. Let's wake him up tomorrow at the Crimson planet. Then we'll tell him that we were all abducted by Furlets, but Roger saved us from them, and we ended up stopping by this planet to board their new ships. Let's not tell him about the telepathic thing, so we can talk in front of him, Celino suggested. As a Mac, as all Macs do, practical jokes are as normal as drinking. He will find out eventually, Jenny said. Not if none of our people spill the secret out. Roger, tell the ship AIs not to tell or even mention anything about this to Roden. Rentana explained. Roger nodded. Late in the afternoon of the next day, the 3 ships have arrived. Each of them had 5 Crimsons loaded in special open ship modules all around the side of the ship nearer the stern. 5,000 trunnies got in per ship. Most will be designated as taggers, and this excited all of the local trunnies since none of them have ever had any task assigned to them in their lifetimes. Roden woke up in a large tent. It looked like one of his military field tents, judging from the shape. Outside, he saw several Inkies in a uniform. He is not familiar with drinking and laughing with 2 other species. He looked around, and he saw that he was in the middle of a large tent city with different alien life forms he has never seen in his life. One of the Inkies stood and, Sir Roden, would you care to join us? Roden approached, and another Inkie poured something into a glass and gave it to him. Great leader, this is for you. Roden took a sip, and he found the drink absolutely fantastic, one that he has never tasted in his centuries of parties and social events. This drink is absolutely incredible, Roden said. An Inkie person spoke. Here's to our great leader, Roden. They all raised their glasses, even the other aliens, and toasted. Roden realized he probably needed a drink, and he downed the whole glass. Thank you, guys. The group poured him another glass, this time almost full. Roden looked around, and he saw Gantley walking towards him. Hi, buddy. Where are we? Gantley approached the table, and one of the Inkies gave him a glass of brandy. I see you tasted the brandy already. Isn't this drink incredible? Yes, it is. Better than anything I have tasted in my life. I know. I just woke up a few hours before you did. Apparently, we were abducted by Furlets and drugged. We were to be brought to a planet when Rexton's group rescued us. We were still asleep when they beamed us at the tent over there. Yes, Celino and Rentana were also abducted. I think those 2 went to the food line. Come on, let's look for them. Who are these people? What are they doing here? Rexton explained this to us. Rexton, you know him, right? He told us that his group came from another dimension and their task was to warn the Armada about a Maccabee invasion force of 10,000 ships. But when they got to a planet they called Earth, the Armada was not there because the timeline of their dimension is about 80 years advanced compared to ours, and so the Armada has not formed yet. The people were not even born yet. So they called their Roden to lead the task of forming the Armada. Then they stumbled into our group. Their Roden, realizing there cannot be 2 Rodens in one timeline, and at close proximity at that, decided to return to their dimension. I told them that you would be as capable as their Roden because you are essentially the same person. They know you are from this dimension, but they also know that you are the same Roden. So they treat you as their Roden. These people see you as their great leader in everything. Are you kidding me? Look at it this way. You take over the leadership of forming the Armada in our dimension with the help of Rexton's people. You settle several conflicts, like the Norsets, those species over there. Then the Bowfings, that guy behind the counter. Then start a war between the Marintais and the Furlets. Then you come in and settle it for the Furlets. You take care of the Intis, and later you unite the Furlets and Intis with our people, and you become the rightful heir and great leader of the 3 groups united as one species. That's impossible, Roden shouted. Gantley remained calm. I talked with the other Roden, and he is their great leader. He united the 3 groups with the help of the Armada. If he can do it, it would be impossible for you not to do it because you are the same person. Their Roden did not have the benefit of hindsight. You do, and we have the most advanced ships in the galaxies. Roden did not have these kind of ships when he did all the things he did. One of the ships bear your name already. I mean the other Roden. So I would suggest you become the great leader people know you to be. The other Roden must be very good at things. I am not good at anything except party with people. The other Roden is like you. He partied until he was 420 years old. Until he found that he wanted to help by enlisting a group of humans to help him to free the Inti planets. After that they formed the Armada that cover 40 BLY of intergalactic space. And you are only 397 years old. He partied longer than you did. I have pointed out to the humans that you may lack the technical experience, so they agreed to teach you one-on-one. These people are absolutely great at their jobs. They have techniques we have never seen in all our history. They have technologies we have never imagined. Our species will benefit from these people, of course, with your leadership. I don't know about the leadership part. I have never led anybody, not even you. That is why they agreed to help. They have a way of transferring information to you, so you get the information in the shortest possible time. And they do this while you are sleeping. Look, Roden, I am your closest friend. We grew up together. I know you, and you know me. And I know you can be that great Roden that I met. I realized he is the same person as you. We felt each other like we know each other, even if he comes from another dimension. Okay, but I want you always to be near me. I think I can pull this off. I am always there for you. You know that. How many times did I take the hit for you? I even spent months cleaning up the space above the capital planet for your indiscretion for a young female Inky you did not even like. Okay, I owe you for that. I told you I will repay you. Do this for me, and all your debts to me are wiped off. I know that one of the most important things to you is to free the 6 planets from the Intis. We can do that, together and much more. Okay, I agree. There's Rentana and Selino. He pointed at the 2 in the food line. Gantley told the 2 to get for him and Roden. Then Gantley directed Roden to sit at one of the unoccupied tables. After a few minutes Selino and Rentana joined them, and Roden had his first meal in a few hours, or so he thought. He never realized he was out for several days. At the bridge of the starship Andrewman, now being changed to IGS Roden, Roger and his group were monitoring the situation. Olive has assigned a drone probe to specifically spy on Roden. It seems that Gantley's plans are in order. Olive said. Rexton added. It seems that Roden does not doubt his best friend, and he feels easy now. I told you the plan would work. Who would act as Roden's mentor? Bhaskar asked. I think Rexton should be his mentor. What is there to mentor? We'll just get the Crinsons to fill his mind with the proper intel, and he can function. Rexton said. I think what he needs is a confidence blanket. That is why he asked Gantley to be at his side all the time. And besides, you have to explain things he may not piece together. Roger explained. Rexton agreed, okay, I'll do it. So we all leave tomorrow for the Norsets. Who gets to do the setup? Roger said, I can do that. Bhaskar answered. Jenny added, I read last night how Sarudam and Lasheen set up their Binaton. They appeared as humans and as inexperienced vigilantes who does not know how to fight a war. Sounds stupid, but they pulled it off. This is your forte, Bhaskar. We will take your lead. Roger said, I think they're almost done. Let's beam down and introduce ourselves to Roden. Jenny said. After an hour, they found themselves back in the bridge. Roger started, This is your bridge, Roden. This is Olive. She's your ship, AI. Shall we move to the mission room? Roden looked at the large bridge of the most advanced ship he has ever known. At the mission room, they discussed the missions for the next few months. They also decided that Bhaskar would take the ball on the ass-kissing attempt. Roden could not imagine that these Armada people could hatch a sinister prank. The 4 ships passed by the Norset backup planet and took in 100,000 Norsets and over 1 million clone bodies. The ships were packed to the roof. All their hangars were packed. Even their hallways and reception areas were packed. The group let Roden do most of the talking and dealing. He seemed to get a hang of being an action leader already and even surprised Gantley at his cool and light demeanor with the Norsets who all were very serious. About 800 MLY from the Norset galaxies, Roden and Gantley was at Roden's quarters. I never realized your quarters was this nice, Roden. May I move in with you? My quarters is really packed. Yes, you may if you like. It's too large for me, and there are 2 bedrooms. But it seems like they built this to my taste. Even the books on that table are to my liking. Especially the Art of War book, fascinating and educational. They even have small ship models like the ones I played with when I was small. I remember those. As I said, this was Roden's ship. Anyway, Roden, you conducted yourself pretty well today. You impressed me. Olive was there to answer all my questions and provide me with alternative courses of action. The decision was still yours, and I am proud of you. Thanks, my friend. Brandy? He poured brandy into 2 glasses. Once we finish with the Norsets, I would have to go with Bastgar to instigate a war between the Marintais and the Furlets. Hopefully, once we switch the Emperor, the army would be sent to the Furlet homeworld. Then we let them fight a little, then you come in and settle it for them. Timing is important. We have to finish the Bowfangs according to plan. Roden said. We have drone probes along the way so you would know our progress and act accordingly. The Armada people are really good at what they do. They know things and they move without even thinking about it. When they leave, it would be our task to form the Armada. Once we unite the Furlets and the Intis, we can devote our forces to this task. I believe the task would fall on your shoulders, my friend. I understand, my friend, and I am very proud of you. Meanwhile, at the bridge of Roger's ship, Bindle's hologram appeared before Roger and the group. Bindle, long time no see. The last time I saw you was at the Endeavor. So what's up? Roger asked. Bindle explained, Alan is transferring a lot of the old-timers from his group to the DG operations as the younger blood from different species come in. You're not an old-timer. Anyway, how's the tagging? All done, including the new ships that came in. The 10,000 Marines will be coming as soon as you start moving your ships to beaming range. I have 10,000 max left with me here in the cave HQ. We can start moving in now. It's going to be a 4-day ride. I will split the ship into 2 and have Roden tow the other half. Then I will put the regular cloak on. Bastgar said. Olive added, Yes, Bastgar. Your people have started to move into the other ships. I will tow the other half. We have to move Roden's group to the ship so the Norset will know there are only a few of us on the ship. Jenny said. They would have to sit on mess hall chairs in the bridge, or they can just wait at the crew quarters or mess hall. Rexton said. Olive, tell Roden and his party we will start moving now. Roger said. John answered, disengaging the rear half of the ship now. After a few days, John started. You can beam down to Bynaton's council room. They are well into their regular morning meetings. Roger looked at the group. Roden, are you guys ready? Sure. So we all appear as humans, right? Bastgar nodded and changed into a human. Here we go. John said. Bastgar started. Greetings, Bynaton. We come in peace. My name is Bastgar. This is John, Roden, Roger, Gantley, Jenny, Rexton, Joe, Byna, Celino, and Rentana. The Norset stood and, Who are you and why are you here? Bynaton asked. Bastgar looked surprised. I just told you our names. John, can you repeat the introduction, please? John repeated their names as he pointed to the persons. He made sure he said their names twice. Bastgar continued, Thank you, John. Now the reason we are here is that we want to help you with your Mort problem. You are the 3rd group that came to us in the last 100 years and told us they are going to end the Mort problem. We only see one ship, and now the ship is empty. So I'm looking at pretty much your whole crew. How much time did you give them to end the war for you? Bastgar asked. Bynaton looked at Bastgar. I recall we gave one group that had 100 ships 2 months to do it. The other maybe 3 months because they had only 80 ships. We have 1 ship and we will end this within 24 hours, from now until tomorrow morning. The council laughed. Bynaton realized they were laughing longer than usual and, okay, I get the joke. Thank you for that. I thought you were serious. Bastgar and the group were not laughing. Okay, I think you underestimate our capabilities. Bastgar said. This is all a prank, right? Who told you to do this? Tonin? Bynaton asked.
No.
We came from 4 BLY away, and we don't know who Tonin is. Bastgar said. Okay, more jokes? What's the next punchline? Bynaton asked. Bastgar started the setup. Why don't we have a bet? If we can end the war for you within the day, you will kiss our asses. It would be impossible for you to do that. But I don't think I should bet to kiss your asses. Bynaton asked. We are willing to die for your cause, and you laugh at us? If we fail within the day, we will all be dead, and you can forget this even happened. Roden butted in emotionally. Bynaton looked at him. Okay, Roden. For the lives you will lose, I will accept the bet. How's that? Really? How about the other council members? Bastgar asked to make sure. Bynaton looked at the council members, and they all gave signs of approval while laughing. Roger started a round. I think you underestimate our capability to end this war for you. In fact, we also intend to go to the bluffing galaxies after this and end the occupation of their planets by the Morts. The council burst out laughing. Bynaton asked, Who told you the Bowfangs were attacked by the Morts? Bastgar answered him, We are sure they were. Why do you think they were not? Yes, I believe you may be right. But you're supposed to die in a day also, so how will you help the Bowfings? First, we will try hard not to die. Roden answered. The council laughed again. Roden explained, our only problem is if we die yet in the war, you would not be able to kiss our asses because some or most of us would be dead. You have to kiss the ass of the survivors even if there would only be 2 or 1 of us left. It was a ploy. Don't worry, we will keep our word. Binaton said. All of you will kiss the ass of the survivor or survivors. Baskar's second confirmation. Yes, if you survive. But you have to end the war, of course. Binaton confirmed. Of course. But you would have to deal with the refugees. I would suggest you send out word so your people can prepare for refugee work. Baskar added. Sure, I can do that, he said calmly and seemed to have controlled his laughter or the effect of the jokes gone. We will leave you now. And thank you for believing in us. We will invite you to our ship within a few hours when we start our operations. Baskar said. Binaton is always civil. Thank you also. Back at the bridge. Roger exclaimed. We almost did not get him to accept. Baskar explained. Roden saved the day. A little drama about sacrifice and death. Good play, Roden. Sure. But I was just reacting to your play, Baskar. No. You delivered the words that closed the deal. You understood how to deal with an emotional species. Anyway, John, are we all prepared? The 4 ships will be in their target location in 4 hours. Jenny exclaimed, come on, let's go to the mess hall. It's not very often that we have a mess hall all for ourselves at the eve of a major engagement. When they got to the tiny mess hall, the place was packed. Bina appeared. The mess area in the cave is almost empty if you care to eat with us. Roger looked at her. You're a lifesaver, Bina. Roden, you can have Binaton and the council members watch the operations from the bridge. Bina will brief you on the various fronts before you beam the council in. Baskar said. Sure, Gantley, you and Rentana and Celino will have to be with me, so they can see a strong Inky presence. I will also be there, Roden. Good call, Roden. Maybe you can tell them how hard you all worked up to this point, with some drama, of course. It seems this Binaton listens to dramatics well, Jenny said. Thanks, Jenny. I noticed that early on. The group toured the cave, which was really huge, and talked with the various marine groups, Max, and refugee workers. They saw a DG open and 20,000 Talonot shock troops moved into the cave and rested before their deployment, which they expect will be within 2 hours. Some of them joined the marine groups, and from the looks of how they grouped together, they seemed to have fought together before. Back at Roden's bridge, Bina asked Olive to produce several holographs of the operations. Then she discussed their tagging operations, the dumping planets, the ship bombs, the proposed main refugee cities, and cleanup. Roden was intently listening and asked very specific questions as to the length of beaming time, the refugee supplies, medic capabilities, shock troop deployment, targeting, and length of deployment, and so on. Bina, Rexton, and Olive took the task of answering his questions. Gantley and Rentana were both quietly listening and made sure they support all of Roden's questioning by showing approval on almost all his questions. It's time, Roden. Do you want to beam Binaton and the council now? Olive asked. Yes. Good to see you again, Binaton and council members. We are about to start our operations. In less than an hour, you will make a determination of where our operations are headed, and at which time you must act immediately to address the refugee problems. Olive, please. The beam out of the Morts was uneventful, and Roden took to the task of explaining to Binaton what is happening in the holograms. The Norsets were fascinated at the easy manner the beam-out operation was conducted. They could see thousands of shock troops cleaning up the ships and garrisons of Morts. After an hour, Roden started to insist that the Norset begin refugee operations. After half an hour, a planet was already free, and the Norsets were surprised to see Norsets conducting refugee operations. What surprised them was the appearance of several thousand clone pods and clone labs where the almost dying were given new bodies. Binaton asked, "Where did you get those clones? We have a shortage of them right now. How many clones do you have?" A Norset named Janan appeared. "Greetings, great leader Binaton. My name is Janan and I am the leader of the backup planet dispatched more than 140 years ago. I brought 1 million clones, but we have another 10 million in our backup planets." "Yes, I remember you. And those are your people?" "Yes, great leader. We have trained to handle the expected refugees. Roger's group has explained to us the task, and we could not imagine the scenario they presented can be true. When we started going down, we were all shocked. The devastation of the planet was extreme, and our people have suffered immensely. Look at the screen. That's the first free planet, and those are our people working the refugee centers. A scene shows two dying Norsets being carried in a floating gurney headed to the clone replacement lab. Another screen shows Norsets providing shots to the arms of the other Norsets, making them stronger. Another shows Norsets going through their formulators to get food. Binatan told the council to immediately dispatch their ships under Tonin to do refugee work. He told them to dispatch all their transport ships with formulators to provide food for the millions of refugees. After a few more minutes, Binatan wanted to return to the council chambers and told Janan to go with him. Gantley, I think we should send out probes to the bluffing galaxies so we can have a lay of the land. Roden said. Gantley agreed, yes, Olive. Tell the Norsets to send out the probes. Roger's ships is furthest out and nearer to the direction of the bowfangs. I will tell him to do so. Roden nodded. At Roger's bridge. I think Roden now has his head in the right place already. Bhaskar commented. I agree. After the bluffing and Marini operations, I think we can leave this universe to those guys. Roger said. It's amazing how one person in one universe can be exactly the same as the other one in another. Rexton said. Jenny added. So we will have our asses kissed and pulled a big one on Roden. I think the prank should add another point to our score. Bhaskar agreed. I agree. And besides, we get to do a Marinti on the Marintis. So there's another point if you ask me. But we were not able to form or help the Armada, so that would be a minus. And Jenny, we have to make sure the prank is not found out even after we leave. Roger said. The day after the ass-kissing, Roger's group met with Roden, Gantley, Tonin, Janan, and Binatan at Binatan's office. We will get intel from the probes we sent several days ago towards the bluffing galaxies. You can expect almost total destruction and devastation in the most extreme levels. Roger said. He started his discussion on the number of planet occupied the billions of bluffing lives lost, their extreme hardship and fight to survive. Binatan again expressed disbelief on what Roger just said. Janan explained, Great leader, what they say is based on intel we got from their people in the bluffing galaxies silently working. Roden seconded, That is correct, Janan. Our people have started work more than 2 months ago. They have worked silently while they witnessed the killing around them. Some of these were bowfangs who have gone through the same hell in their dimensions. This is precisely the reason why the Armada should be allowed to grow, to help species from being oppressed, to ease their pain, and to gather more Armada species to help them. Say no more, Roden. The whole Norset species is behind you and your work. Tonin has started rounding up transport and medical logistics for the task that is absolutely unbelievable to most Norsets. Binatan said, Tomorrow we will receive the next batch of Armada-class ships. One would be for Gantley, one for Tonin, and one for Gotenin as Armada Science Officer. Jenny explained, I don't know as Gotenin will agree to travel with your Armada, but if does not we have his assistant to take his place. Binatan said, Olive appeared with Gotenin. Great leader, I was at my lab and Olive appeared and now I am here. Gotenin said. Binatan explained about the coming ships and, would you be willing to be part of the Armada? Great leader, it would be my greatest honor. My work with the Armada will be the symbol for all Norsets to see our role in the galaxies. In fact, my first project is to transfer all Armada technologies to our people so they can learn and understand them. I realize that some of their technologies come from various Norset worlds or dimensions. Most come from various alien species they have in their Armada. And these technologies and the people that have used them are what makes the Armada the greatest fighting force in the universe. I would absolutely love to be part of their team. Roger added. And these technologies you must tell your people to guard for all of us. Jenny discussed the HOP projects and told Gotenin to assign people to turn the Mort's ships into HOP ships. She then let John show the routes they need to set up immediately. So these HOPs will connect various species and foster trade and good relations? Binatan asked Roger. Yes, and will generate enough money to support an Armada of more than 100,000 ships that are as big as my ship and more than 200 million personnel. The Norsets are honored to be part of the Armada.